y'all know this is related to you guys' family, okay? The Most High has been capitalizing on your bloodline. I'm talking about folks in your bloodline, okay? Um, they done an attack on you this weekend. It's always this weekend, right? They go and smoke, drink, and they start talking about you, and then they start their little rituals, and they start their little negative energy. Thank you. And we crack up because it don't touch us, but we read energy. Like, we can read when stuff is coming at us according to our energy, right? So, as this was taking place, the Heavenly Father was saying that, remember when I told you about folks gonna end up missing? And I went back to those videos, right? And I said, wow. And he was like, yeah, hint, hint. Like, the Most High is like, he's letting us know that he's removing people. These people are too obsessed with you. They over heels obsessed with you. And these people who got their own lives, right? But they can't focus on their life because they worried about you 24/7. They want to know about what you doing when you ain't doing nothing. Where you going when you ain't really even going nowhere. Who you talking to when you ain't even talking to nobody. Just these things. They even obsessed with your pets and your kids. They start, trying to attack your pets and your kids. And Heavenly Father was like, man, go ahead and anoint your pet, because I seen like her energy was off, and what happened was they really did an honor to, my pet, because the Most High was cleansing her. So as they tried to put some on her, the Most High was cleansing her. So, she was just getting cleansed like all yesterday, and I took her a bath or whatever. Now she's running around like, she's like a dang zoo animal running around. High energy, feeling all good, probably feeling redeemed because she's been cleansed from the inside. So we thank you, devils. You ain't did nothing over here. If anything, I want to thank you, because it seems like every time they come for us, they upgrade us. You get what I'm saying? Like, every time they come for us, they end up upgrading us. This is the catch. And the Most High was saying, yeah, it's your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's haters and there's devils out here that's been gunning for you, but your biggest haters is your family. Which is, you would think would be the opposite, right? You would think like, nah, like these haters out here. No, it's people that's in your family that's been trying to stop you for the longest. Putting stumbling blocks out, try to get there before you get there, so that they could try to control, and orchestrate, what's about to take place according to you. I mean, the Most High sat back and watched it all. And then they try to play innocent, kikiing all up in your face. This is what I don't like. What's up with the kikiing? They be the ones in your face when they be doing all the dirt behind your back. And it's like, we have a heart where the Most High, he designed us where we can't even turn like hard. Like we can't even turn like cold, towards people, but we allow them to understand that we know. Like, we know what you've been doing. And it's crazy because that bull crap ain't gonna work. How many times have y'all tried this and folks got the worst karma, and you still walking around as if you ain't been touched? When are they gonna get that? Like, is that too hard to comprehend that you can't be touched? And then it's like, the things that they do, it's like, it's for our good. It's for our good. It's like an upgrade. Every time your enemies come, you just know that you about to get an upgrade. You about to get a breakthrough. Something good about to happen. Every time they come for you. The Most High always capitalizes it. He turn it around for your good. You end up getting something out of it. And I just be shaking my head like at these people. Like, y'all still trying. And you could feel like that inner, hate when they see you. Like, man, ain't nothing affected. We ain't get nothing out of this. Or what just took place and all we put in that, ain't nothing came out of it. It's like everything was in vain. And yes, like for the 1,000th time, well, 1,000,000 time, because they've been trying you all your life, really. And all they've been doing was upgrading you the whole entire time. The whole entire time, they've been upgrading you. You come out like better. It's like the things that they do, it's like they equip you. It's like the Most High allowed them to equip you. So sometimes, I don't really even want, be trying to stop it, because I be getting upgrades, It be like, some people like, oh, no, what are you guys doing? No, I be like, bring on the upgrade, because your girl, I ain't stopping no upgrade. Because at the end, you just know that you're not going to be touched anyway. Who going to touch you? Have you ever got touched? You were aware. The Most High made it where you were aware of what's taking place. But you ain't get touched. You ain't get affected. And they got to sit here and watch you. Look your best. Have everything the best. Not small, big. It's like everything, they got to sit here and watch you just get like double. And they just got to sit here with their arms folded up like, you know what I'm saying? But you was the help. You help this person, get double, get bigger, get better. You were the help. So normally when you got people standing in the sidelines, they be clapping, right? This is what they should be doing, because they your biggest cheerleader. They the ones helping you. Think about it. If they wasn't coming how hard as they're coming, where would you be at? You wouldn't actually be where you are and where you actually about to be leaped to go. Because that attack that they did last night, quantum leaped you to another side of the timeline. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. I woke up in another side of the timeline. I'm talking about the best time. Thanks to your enemies, your hidden enemies. I'm talking about the blood ones. Yeah, the best. The ones in your bloodline. Yeah, they be the ones in the background helping you. And then they be keying all up in your face. Yeah, I know what you did. Thank you. I ain't mad at you. You thought I was about to be mad? No. I thank you. Could you just help me get somewhere else that I found it hard to get by myself? But thanks to you. Folks behind your back, spreading your name to people. Now everybody coming to see about you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you put me out there where, folks didn't know nothing about me. Now they came to see about me. Thank you once again. Everything you do, everything they do it for your good. You don't have to work as harder because they doing the work for you. That's why the Most High allow it. He know the effects is not gonna, they can't affect you. They low in vibration. You way too powerful for these people. The Most High, He anoints you with the biggest of everything. I'm talking about energy. I'm talking about frequency. I'm talking about vibration. I'm talking about your whole era. You a whole force by yourself. You know that right now. You know who you are. Don't nobody really got to tell you who you is. But I'm here to tell you that the Most High allowed them to do that, to, come for you, to upgrade you. Every time they come, the Most High upgrade you. Yeah. And they sit back and watch and they be mad trying to think of other things to do because the envy, the jealousy, the hate that they have in their heart because they don't want it to be you. They don't want to see you as being, the one that's doing this and doing that. I'm talking about your family. Okay? The Most High told me to come on here to capitalize, the enemies in your family who's orchestrating, all this chaos in the background, but it's working out for your good. The ones who's slandering your name, smearing your name to people, got people, thought people was gonna look at you like, but when people look at you and they start getting to know you, it's for your good. They see the real you. They see who the what runs that who really are hatred, and got jealousy and envy. Folks ain't dumb. They know who's the, they can compare and they can contrast, who's who. But they thought that would be your downfall of them speaking on your name. But they don't understand your energy is going to tell it all. When people come and see you and figure out who you is, they're going to be like, oh, them folks hating. There ain't nothing that you're saying is applying to this person. Once again, they still have not learned from the last smear campaign that they had tried. And folks checked on you and seen about you, and they found out to be a lie. And what they do? They went and hide. Especially the ones close to you, like your brother, your sister, your father, your mother, or somebody, or your cousins. They really look like the sellout. Because why are you up there trying to double cross, your family? It automatically, show their true character. Like, folks ain't trying to mess with somebody like that. If you gonna sell out the ones that's close to you, I don't want to be around you. Who am I? If you gonna do that to your own people, who am I? This is what folks is looking at them like. I can't trust you. That's your sister, right? That's your brother, right? Is that's your daughter? That's your son? That's your niece, your nephew, that's your cousin. Folks is like looking at them like, man, a lot of them are toxic, but they still in the back of their mind like, man, I don't even know if I can trust this person. Because if they out here and they going all out like that, to their own kind, I don't just imagine what they'll do to me. But then again, it's not affecting us because folks gonna check on us and see who you talking to, who you talking about like that. You know what I'm saying? So folks gonna do their research and they gonna try to find you, which they did, and they seen who the common denominator was, and it blew up in their face once again. Everything that they do, it turns out for our good. They end up trying to figure out why even the things that they do, that the setups, the plots, the schemes, why it always turn out for your good. Like why you don't get affected how, they planned how it would be. Why you don't get, why it always turn out of you coming up out of all the BS. Like it don't stick. Like they actually wanted everything to stick on what they was doing. But it's not. And you're not even moved by it. You're not embarrassed. The things that they do, they thought you was going to be embarrassed. They thought you was going to be humiliated. They thought that you was going to like go hide out somewhere. You just would feel uncomfortable. None of that moved you. You walking around as if, okay. Like, what you thought you were going to get a reaction? You thought you were going to get a shout out? You thought you was going to get some type of, admiration of what you did. We don't care, ma'am, sir. You guys got exes. They've been trying to get your attention for the longest. They've been doing stuff just so that they can get your attention. If you guys got social media, they up there taking pictures with folks that they thought that, they was going to get you mad. You was like, I don't care. Like, do you thought I was supposed to care? I don't even know. I forgot you even exist, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of these people we don't even know no more. Yeah. like, I mean, we're just not bothered. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are just not bothered. We living our life. Like, you know, we doing what, you know, was good for us. You know, and it's like people would think, they feel as though, you know, we should have some type of reaction towards them. And that's not the case. We don't care what you do. You can go and live your life and do whatever you want to do, whatever. That ain't got nothing to do with us, ma'am, sir. You know, you don't go out your way and put all that energy in something that's in vain. Because we don't care. I'm here to let you know. You know, I'm be in my own bubble. I be in my own world. I'm telling you, like, it's not that. You gotta go ahead and live your life, ma'am, sir. Stop trying to, you know, these insecure people, they like, what is it gonna take to get a reaction out of her? What is it gonna take to get a reaction out of him? And it's like, you guys did all that studying and you guys still don't even know us. You don't. Once you are cut, there is no existence of you, meaning that there is no ties, there is no emotions, you know, there is no reaction, there is no thought. We move it clearly on. It's a clear state. We don't see any residue left of you. And it's no bad blood. That's just how it goes. You know, with a lot of divine ones, you know, we show love, you know, for everybody. But once you're out of our lives, there is no section that's like, you know, what do you call that? You know how they make a section before you get to a place, and it always, you know, they'll know that, hey, this is for so-and-so. That's not it. There is no, after you leave, there's a section that's always here for you. No, it's like, it's done. Like, you are cleared out. Like, you're clear. Like, all clear. Like, boom, all clear. Like, they, you know, in the hospital, you know, they try to clear you out, and they gotta look on the sign, gotta look on the system to see if you clear. Yeah, you clear. So I don't know what's the trying to cause somebody to be jealous or trying to get a reaction. You are clear. You clear to do whatever you want to do, and it's on you. I don't get it. That's us. It always been. You know, we move on with cheer, with glory. You know, we and then when we see you, we show love. Whoever you with or whoever that you around. Love, 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 love. You know, but it's not like that with them. It's like when we separate, okay, now I gotta make her my enemy. I gotta make him my enemy. For what? Leave and remove yourself with gladness, with joy, with peace. What makes you think that, folks, I'm gonna give you my energy when I move on? That's the whole reason why you was removed. Because I wasn't going to give no more energy to you. You were clear. They study trying to look at what you doing and trying to figure out, like, you know that it's over, right? Like, it's not, you don't have to be worried about what somebody else is doing or what somebody else is doing. I mean, this your prerogative. You are separate, you are cut, you are clear from this person. I hope we have an understanding of that, ma'am, sir. Why are you still checking up on somebody that doesn't, there's no, you need to not have no attentive to? I mean, are we here? I'm confused. Folks is trying to make you jealous that don't even exist. I don't even know you even exist. Once you was cut, you have nothing that's occupied here. Better yet, or any remembrance of you. Because you, depending on how long, if it's been like over 2 years or so, I don't comprehend. You know the people that be like, I speak no English. I can't comprehend. I don't know Who is you? Who is you? I don't even know you, sir. I don't even know you, ma'am. You could come past, and I might not even know you, depending on your changes. You know, because if we met when we were young, I don't know you. I do not know you. I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to even pick you out, point you out. And it's crazy how people been watching you and your move, but you don't even pick you out, point you out. And it's crazy how people been watching you and your move, but you don't even know these people. It's just like, I'm appalled. Like, people be claiming y'all. Like, yeah, still telling people stories about you and them. And it's like, who is you? I don't even remember the stories or whatever times that we had. Let's keep it real. All the moments that I shared, that we, we divine ones, our experience that we have every day, it's a lot of experience. Like, we go and we try a bunch of stuff in the world. So it's not just like we can just separate all the experience that we had and just remember this individual, that we cut, especially one that we cut. That's hard to do. That's hard to do. We got to go back and we got to really go deep in the timeline. And who got time for that? Don't nobody got time for that. And I'm not being, I'm not trying to be rude here. I'm actually telling the truth. Folks, when you experience like one of the, us, like the collective divine one, it's a different way that we think and how we move about things. Folks be trying to hold on to us. When we release you, you go. Like, it's like you release a balloon. You don't go following and go running after the balloon and try to figure out where it's going to go next. We release you. Farewell. Farewell, my friend. You feel me? Like, we like... I'm so serious. My biggest thing that I like to do is release balloons. Because it's like, hey, go fly. Hey, enjoy. Go in the earth and fly. We have a good heart. We want everybody to, hey, you cut, we done, but go and enjoy. But it seems like every time we release somebody or we have to cut somebody, they turn into like our biggest, like, Chucky doll. It's like, why you want to be a Chucky doll to me? I ain't did nothing to you. We actually separated on good terms. Every person that y'all probably separated, y'all might have some, you have to make it firm with people. But as a whole, it was on good terms. It was like, okay, okay, it's time. It's our time. We going two different waves. We're on two different levels. You probably got some growing to do. I probably got more experience to go out here and do. So you have a nice one. Farewell. They still behind, making it at this big old deal, telling folks, every person that they go around, they got a story to tell about you. Trying to make you out to be the bad villain when you did nothing to them. And it's been years and they still so at this point you don't even know who this person is. It's been about 5, 6, no telling how many years. I don't care if it was even 1 or 2 years. It's like, what are you doing, ma'am, sir? Sometimes, you got to search for help. Sometimes you got to go get some help. If you can't really get over a person, yeah, they be making up stories about you. Folks be like, they trying to look at you and they looking at him, or looking at her and looking at you. And they like, I can't see that. And then it's like, we never see you guys together. Are you sure you was with this person? Because then they looking at the timeline of their life. They're like, I never seen you with that person. I'm going to keep it real. And it's like, even if y'all did have some history where you guys had kids together, it's kind of like they know when you guys separated. So it's kind of like, don't you have somebody? Like, these folks have had somebody that they already with or may already married, and they still bringing you up. They still telling folks about you and looking at your whatever you got going on, reminiscing about your pictures. It's like, what are you doing? Sir, you are married. You actually are in a relationship with a whole individual. What are you still worrying about what's going on over here? That's a problem. It's a real problem out here, you guys. So you guys got to be careful, you know, because for some reason, folks can't just separate from you with honor, with dignity, and go and live life graciously. They can't do that. They find it hard to do that when it comes down to you. But you ain't talking about nobody. You ain't got nobody name in your mouth. You know, you're not creating all these gossip groups and smear campaigns and, you know, going around people's houses, you know, still speaking of people, you know, and just doing the most according to a person that you let go. Y'all separated. You guys disconnected. Why is it so hard for you to move on with your wife or whoever that you with over there? This is what I'm talking about with you divine ones. You got to be careful. Because even if you moved on, folks don't know how to move on. They don't know how to remove themselves from you. Yeah, it's just crazy to me. You know, I was just trying to figure that out. You know, I was like, man, what's actually wrong with folks? Like, why they can't move on, you know, with dignity and leave folks alone? Nobody ain't bothering you. Ain't nobody saying nothing about you. Ain't nobody stalking you. Don't nobody really care about your whereabouts or what you do when you do it. When you go and when you do go about things. Don't nobody... It ain't like you have... Oh my goodness, Lord. This is what the Most High was basically letting me know. What's going on? That still taking place. You ain't seen this person in years. Let's be clear. You ain't seen this person in decades. I'm not talking about no 1, 2, 3 years. Y'all, you met these people in your 20s. Your early 20s. And it didn't even last long. It wasn't even no serious relationship. You just seen this person and you, like we do, you know, we want to uplift people because of whatever that we felt according to their energy was not good. You know, we could tell they had past trauma. You know, so we was like trying to uplift. And then once, you know, that was weared out, we separated. It wasn't like it was like no big, you know, serious thing. We knew that wasn't going to work in the beginning. Let's keep it real. We knew half of the relationships, you know, especially when we were younger, you know, we were growing. But we knew certain people, it wasn't going to work. We knew it was a time where we were going to have to separate. You know? And for some reason, they still got your name in their mouth. And they confuse the people because people are like, were you ever with this person? Because it was very short-lived. Yeah, the rejection. And it wasn't even like a rejection. This was like well, it was a rejection, yeah. Because you could tell that this person may have experienced this person that kept trying to come back to you. And you really, you know, you did reject. Yes, you did. It's a person that constantly, really did, wanted to keep some type of bond with you, and you're like, no, I'm releasing you like this butterfly. I'm not a butterfly, but like a balloon. I'm releasing you. I don't know. They couldn't take that. I don't believe they could take the rejection. And they hold on to it way too long. They thought that, like, they treated you as if how their past experience was. Like, okay, I'll just try to make you jealous, and you release them. Like, remember, when you cut, like we talked about, our definition of cutting is you clear. Meaning that we're not checking up. You can't come back because there's nothing. You can't occupy nothing over here. It's like when you leave, you clear. You good. So they still like, okay, well, I can still try to put this in your face, put that in your face, put this in your face, try to do this, try to do that. And you like, you good. You okay. You can do whatever. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But they still feel like that's moving you or something. And it's just like, I don't even look at you like that anymore. When I released you or we separated, I don't look at you like that. You don't, remember, you have no type of entitlement to me. You don't have nothing according to me. When we divine ones, when we cut and move people, we don't look at them like that anymore. They feel as though we supposed to still look at them a certain way, or we don't look at you like that. That's not what we do. And they want us to still have some type of, for them. And it's like, oh, that's not there no more. Once you was removed and you was released, you're not that anymore. And it's still like, they still comparing you from all the others. That's the thing with us, in our lives, that's what we go through. People keep comparing us as everybody else. We don't move that way. We everything about us is completely different from other people. May I say, the studying that people do, it's in vain. They sit there and watch and study us and listen to us, and they still can't comprehend, what we give in. They sit there, how you sit up there and you study, and when it's time for a test, you don't know nothing. Because the first thing they do when it come down to us is compare, oh, she gonna be just like her. Oh, he gonna be just like her. I mean, him. All I gotta do is do this, and that same reaction I got from her or from him is gonna be the same reaction I get from her and him. Ma'am, sir, have it ever been? Have it ever been the result that you was getting from these others? Have it ever been the same as you got from the others? Let's talk about it. Never. You never got the same reaction. You never got the same, some of them, the same, feelings of whatever sort. Everything hits different with us. Maybe that's what the obsession come from. I don't know. Maybe because people don't understand in the whole, like chasing. Jason is trying to figure out you. Like, oh, I can win her. Oh, I can win him. I can win, like some type of hunt. Maybe that's the obsession when it comes down to us, divine ones. It's like I have all other ones like this. Why? I got to just figure it out. I got to keep going. And then apparently this will work. Apparently, you know what I'm saying? On some Tom and Jerry type stuff. They don't want you to take, the trophy of the other ones they probably manipulated or something. The Most High was telling me about this. He was telling me about how folks, like especially some narcissists, they don't want you to get the upper hand. If you separated and you left with your dignity and everything about you, that was supposed to be snatched, ma'am, sir. Before you left, they were supposed to be the one that reject. They were supposed to be the one that dismiss and all this and all that. That pride and ego. We don't even look at it like that. I don't even like when it was a cut and separate. I don't look at it as if you got dismissed. You know what I'm saying? Or you got rejected type of thing. That's them. That's the stupidity. That's why you separate from them in the beginning. because their ways is toxic. If you grew apart, call it what it is. Why you gotta make it seem as though, but I didn't call it though. I didn't call it off. You know, like I came to you and you told me, this. I wanted to be the one that tell you that. And like, what does it matter? We were going to separate regardless of whoever said it. We were going to separate. We were going to be departed. Got the best of you how? Because all the other ones, I was the one. They came chasing after me. I don't want to be left when I was chasing after you. Who told you to go chasing after somebody though? You decided to do that. When it was a separation, didn't nobody tell you to come chasing? See, they wanted you to chase after them. They didn't want to be the chaser. They used to people chasing after them, and you had changed the whole tables to where they start, the things that they used to people doing to them, they were doing that to you, and it felt like you took their whole ego away. You gave them like some ego death because they never thought that, they'll be doing the things that other people have been doing to them. And it's like, who told you to do? Didn't nobody tell you to do that? Man, I'm sorry. Once again, ain't nobody holding you hostage and told you to go chasing after this lady, chasing after this man, and doing all this stuff. So they trying to be one up with you. They trying to get you to do the same thing that they was doing according to you. And that's not given. That's not the case. It's not just you. We don't do that, period. We don't do no chasing. We don't do no, trying to show somebody that, this and that. That's not the way that we go. And a lot of women shouldn't do that. So if you're banking on a woman to do that, that's not our job, ma'am, sir. That's not our job. Okay? So if you're a woman out there and you trying to chase after some man, or you trying to show him that you're the one, that's not your job. You don't ever do that. Don't ever think that you need to do that. And if this man is trying to get you to do that, put you in a place where he wants you to do that, you need to run. You need to run because you're dealing with a narcissist. You're dealing with an egotistic, prideful narc who gets some type of a thrive. You're dealing with an egotistic, prideful narc who gets some type of a thrive, So you need to run for real, because that's not your position. You don't do that. You don't do that chasing. You don't do that hunting. You woman, you don't do that. Okay? So if some man trying to get you a competition of some other woman, or, and trying to make it seem as though, well, you ain't no other women do this and other women do that. Why are you with me? Remember, we all got choices. You don't have to be with me. You don't have to fool around with me. You don't have to be here. You can go be over there where you claim that you find it where that's where you want to be at. See, this is us. This is why narcissists, they can't F with you. They can't play them games. You're not in that, you don't take that role of playing them type of games. They end up being, what they don't want to be. They end up being the chaser. They end up being the one that's trying to get your attention. They end up being the one that's trying to get you to see them in a way how you actually want, your partner or your spouse. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the first rodeo. You experience with other narcissists, and you know what they do. Yeah, exactly. Once you try to put me in a competition or try to take me out of me of how you trying to get me to be, oh, you're done. You're done. I don't play games. We don't play. We're very, what do you call that? Original. Like, I can never say that word. Authentic. My tongue, y'all. But y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? We just let things just, like take place, like in a natural way. Let it all come together naturally. If it's not going to be, it's not going to be. But you would know because you're letting everything happen naturally. You're not forcing nothing. You're not trying to come on, and do this, trying to play roles. You're not trying to outdo. You're not doing that. None of that. It's just natural. Letting things go naturally. Some folks, they can't do that because they fake. And this is what happens when you start getting divided. When you start seeing, folks being fake, this is when we start separating. Because we ain't got time for character roles. We ain't got time for, folks trying to, compare to another and all these foolery games. We're not about that. But again, they want you to play the game. So don't play no games with these people. Continue on your way. You made the right decision. When you separated, you made the right decision. You're not with the games. You never was. You don't even play games with the enemy. When he come knocking, you gonna play a game? We'll throw up our middle finger in a quick second. On all of them. You thought I was about to play a game? You thought I was about to put my energy in wasting my time playing games with y'all? Are you crazy? I'm talking about the time that I could be doing right now. You think I'm going to utilize that and sit here and play tit for tat? No. And that's why they're mad at you. You won't play the game. You won't give them the attention so that, so that they can play a game with you. It's like, I don't want to play a game. They like a little kid knocking at the door. Can you come out and play outside? No. I'm not coming out playing outside. I don't want to play with you. No. And now they hurt. You don't want to play with me? No, I don't want to play with you. Play too many games. That's all you do is play games. When are you gonna be real? That's why some folks ain't got nothing real. Cause they play too many games. When are you gonna put your big girl underwear on and your big boy, underwear on? Start acting mature. Like grow. Folks are still walking around here grown and little kids. And they expect you to be a part of that. I'm not interested. We're not interested in that. Sorry. And if some divine ones, if you are still, happen that you entangle with that, separate from that. Because that's not going to change. They're going to keep being a little kid, and they want you to be an advocate for it, and it's like, no, you out, get on out, kick them right to the curve, let them know, but you do it gracefully. We're not here to, do some, all about negativity and toxic. No, we do it gracefully. We separate from folks, really, really well. We conduct ourselves very well, to where people would think that, is it really over? Yeah, it is over, ma'am. I just know how to conduct myself, but it's over, sir. Yeah. You gotta keep going. This is not well. I don't dwell in, in this toxic environment and just playing all these games. I can't do that. In our environment, we like peace. We like solitude. We got standards to how we dwell. We always did ever since we were a child. So we like clean. We like that peace. We had a standard. We had a standard. So, yeah. I am so good. Yeah. So anybody else want to say something? What y'all thinking? Oh, you said exactly? Yeah. I'm telling you, it's certain things that, folks had to have within them for us to share, and come together with another. It's certain, we're looking for certain qualities, looking for certain values in a person, in order for it to work, between the two. You know, and it was no hard feelings if they didn't have that, but it just, we knew it was not going to work, you know. And we still could be cool, you know. We still see one people and say hi and, you know, wish them the best and everything, but it's certain qualities that you had to have, you know. Equally yoked, yeah, the most definitely equally yoked. It's just certain values and qualities that some folks will have, you know, embedded in them. It's not something that you can learn. It's something that you had to have in you, you know, for us to, you know, reunite, you know, come together, you know. And a lot of folks, they didn't have it, you know, and that's okay. Everybody ain't for everybody, you know. Certain things, you know, it may take time for you to come together and, you know, you get. That's okay. We know how to walk away gracefully, but other people, they don't know how to do that. You know, they think we walk away from somebody or something. They just think that we the worst, you know, villain of the earth. Like we can't walk away. Like we can't separate when some made up to part. Like people, they crack me up. They crack me up for real. You know, and the Most High literally just wants you guys to understand, you know, the update of, you know, people right now and how, you know, they, you know, what they doing behind the scenes, according to you. It's sad, you know, that, you know, they are still holding on, you know, to you negatively, but a lot of them are, you know, the ones that you had separated from. It could be friends, family, relationships. It could be whatever. If you departed from these people, this is how they looking at you as. You know, they looking at you as if you got the best of them. And it's sad that they looking at it, things like that. When it wasn't that. It was like you guys just grew apart. You know, you divine ones, you guys shift very quickly. You know, you grow. Because that's what you came down here to do. You came down here to grow. So you grow like very faster than another person, right? And you can get annoyed if you're in a whole different stage of growth and you're attached with a person who's still on a very, very lower, you know, a state that you're in. It could be annoying to you, especially when they're not doing things to better themselves or to, you know, come up. It could be annoying. You know, so then you see yourself gracefully separating yourself, and it's okay, you know. But to them, it's like, why would you do that? Like, what made you think that? You know, all this negativity, you know, and it was never like that. It was no bad blood at all. You know, we all had, you know, good intentions for everything, and we told them that. We told every last one of them that. If it's a friend, we told them, man, I don't do that. You know, you keep inviting me places where, you know, I don't do that. I don't participate in this anymore. You know, I don't do that anymore. And then you guys start separating, but they took it as a, you know, a rejection. They took it out of you cut them off. Like you just out of nowhere. They going behind your back telling people that, you know, you just cut them off and, you know, you know, this and that and this, just really just assassinating your character. And that they know that's not what happened. Why would I just, you know, cut you off and make you seem like you just some type of bad person? And, you know, we don't even have to discuss that. You know, folks is just the people that you cut off. They're making people look at you a certain way as if, you know, you go around here, that's your character. Like, don't be friends with, they basically telling people telling people that, don't be friends with her because, or don't be friends with him because he'll just do this out of nowhere, and she'll do this out of nowhere, and then she'll have this, like, you know, this going around here, like, ma'am, like, sir, why are you going right here putting stuff in people's head, you know, about false information, just because you was left on the sidelines because there was no growth in the friendship. There was no growth in the relationship. You know, even as being, you know, as kin folks, you know, we separated because there was no growth there. We were completely different. We had no similarities. The things that you like, I don't like, and the things that, you like, I don't like, so we grew apart. But this is why you looking at it as. But in their end, they telling folks that you just horrible. You a horrible friend. You a horrible, companion in a relationship. And, you a horrible sister. You a horrible brother. You a horrible child, a daughter. You a horrible son. Just like, just because you don't want, you outgrew them. Basically. They can't accept that you guys grew apart. That was it. You said if they should have treated you right. Yeah, that was one of the cases too. They didn't know how to treat you as well. But my biggest thing with me is some folks, I outgrow folks, so, and it doesn't work. Once I outgrow a thing, I can't stay there. Just imagine you got, your feet, you trying to stick your feet in a shoe that you can't fit. And it's like, it's hurting. You walking around, it's squeezed, it's not feeling well. Somebody said Fenty Flow. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Look, I mean, it's just the growth for me. Like, we came down here to grow, y'all. So if you with somebody for like 5 years, it could be any type of friendship. I mean, relationship. It could be a business partner. It could be a co-worker. It could be, a friendship, whatever relationship category, right? And these folks stayed the same when y'all was a child. You knew them you knew them when you was a child, and they just never grown. They stayed the same old person while you're growing, you changing, you're not off the same things. You're a whole different person, right? And you gradually are going to grow apart. This is your bio for everything that, you grew apart and you disconnected from. This is your explanation, right? Their explanation is not the same as yours. Theirs is, you treated them this way. You abandoned them. You reject this when they were trying to do something nice, and they were trying to show up for you, and they were trying to be the best this and this, that, and you just threw cake in their face. This is what they saying. The other people. Like, you don't even waste your time in that person, because they gonna do you just like me. What are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's not, come on now. You knew that we spread love. You know that we were all about love. We did nothing to nobody. We don't even need to explain ourselves, because, folks knew that. We was cool, down to earth person. And it didn't work out because there was no growth there. There was no reason to continue when folks are going to be on that same thing that you went on. And they wanted you to keep playing the game. The ring around the rosy game. And that's not what you signed up for. That's not what you would ever sign up for. I'm not going to keep playing the game with you. I'm not going to play the game at you. I'm not going to play the game at you at all. Ma'am, sir. I'm not a candidate for for the game. And if you divine ones, and if you in a game and you know that you in a game, somebody putting this little game going on in your life, it was nice knowing you. I wish you the best, but I'm not a candidate for no game. No up and down, round and round. No, get from around here. Get from around here. Yeah, they want you to be a candidate for the back and forth thing. They know they ain't gonna change. They know they ain't gonna do right by you. But they want you, but they'll give you time to clear your mind, and then they'll come back so they can do the game all over again. Stop letting people play with you. Them folks, they're not, it's not in them to do well. They got some growing to do, and it's a choice. You can't even make the decision for folks to change. Some folks just know that they know in their heart that if they're gonna change or not. And too, by you sitting up here playing the game with them. You know, you don't need to give me no time to forgive you, of what you did. Just understand there ain't no coming back. Go out there and play all the games that you can play. I'm just not gonna play it. And this is just the line, the boundaries that folks can't stand. So they just go around here, go behind your back, and they talk about you because they can't play with you. They can't F with you. So all they could do is just talk about you. That's it. The people that they can't play the game with, they just be talking. They be talking about them. So this is what they do. They just talk because you're not going to let them play the game. You're not. I'm telling you. It's just like, dang, she just cut off the game. Yes, I did, ma'am, sir. I would do it 1,000 times. But I know a lot of divine ones, you guys are kind of got that heart and y'all just be allowing them to do it. They come and they try to, do that love bombing and try to, give you stuff or try to do stuff for you. And then you let them back in and they play that you back in the same cycle game. No, ma'am, sir. You don't have to give me nothing. You don't got to do nothing for me. You ain't got to talk that, the love bombing and all that. You cut. I just told you, I don't play the game. You are the candidate for the game, and I'm not going to play it. They know how to get back in, then they know how to do something, and then they know how to get back in, and then I'm telling you, don't allow them to do that to you. I know y'all watch people in y'all family when you guys were young, you watch people do that, play the game with some of your people in your family. You like, dang, I just knew that she was going to stop the game. And she next day back in the game with the same old individual, same old friend, same old relationship that she said that she was out the game and he was out the game and they went right back in the game. I'm telling you, I was observant. I was like the observer kid. You know what I'm saying? When I was younger, because I sat back and I observed and I watched, the foolery. And I was like cheering. I used to cheer on adults. Like half of the people that I spoke to and I was giving them wisdom, was adults when I was younger. It wasn't kids. It was like actually adults. And I knew that, something was kind of like, I was like some type of old soul or something because I was trying to figure out why grown women and grown men, they was like telling me about, what was going on with them. They used to tell me everything was going on with them about, I was friends with her for like about 10 years and she did this and she did that. Or I feel like I'm getting taken advantage of my relationship. Like these is the stuff that I was, grown folks. I was like 14, 15 years old and literally grown folks, like grown women, grown men was telling me about situations that was taking place with them, right? And I would tell them who they is. I won't tell them what they should do. No, that's not my business. That's not my lane. I always stayed in my place. I never told nobody, still to the day, I don't tell nobody what they should do, but I'm going to tell you who you are and what you don't need to be putting up with. You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want to do, but I'm just here to let you know that you don't have to put up with that. Because a person is going to keep trying you and keep doing the same thing, as long as you keep allowing them to, and they're still there, and you're still being a candidate to it. Some folks, that's their character. Some folks got to understand that. Some folks been doing that for I don't know how long. And I just be cracking up on myself because I'm telling you, like, this is stuff my whole, like, childhood. I literally was, explaining to folks about the game. And it's a cold game that folks will run on you if you a candidate for it. They're not going to feel sorry about what they're doing either. It's like, you here? You allowing me? You here? So basically, you're here. You in the game too. You show up. I show up. We in the game. That's how they think. But then you got to just turn off the game. You can't even talk to them. You got to turn off the game. You got to take the plug off. Put the game in the box and shift it away. That's how you stop the game. That's what I've been preaching because that's what I've been doing. And folks don't like me because of it. They feel as though, I should not, I'm the biggest villain because I don't allow them to keep the game going and being a candidate and just keep going around in circles and going up and down, around and around, and knowing that I can't expect a different result because this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it just wising up, what you have. But the Most High is just letting you know, this is how people feel. They feel as though they talking behind your back because they feel as though, you should have still been in the game. You should have still been allowing things to occur in the game. That was it. I said, oh, I could talk about that. That's nothing. I could talk about that all day, every day. Because I would never be a candidate of the game. Wasn't there a show out there called The Game? I think there was a show called The Game. It was on, I forgot what channel it was on, but it was an actual TV show. And it was called The Game. And everybody that was in the game was playing the game. So, you said you got to let them go to when they use you? They used to. Oh, what they used to. Yeah, you got to let them go. What they used to. Yeah, they used to the game. They used to that cycle. They wanted to play that with you. You was like, oh no. Once you realize what they was doing, because they try to act like, sneaky with it and try to act like you don't know. You know. And you can still do it. You just can't do it with me. That's the whole thing. That's all you was saying. I ain't trying to stop you. We ain't stopping nobody from nothing. You just go do that over far away. You can't do that near. Okay? They mad. But why? You messing up my they forever will be in your head. You would be forever in their head, excuse me, because they keep thinking like, why did you allow them to play the game? So it's like you keep coming up because you the only person that didn't allow them to play the game. So now they got a problem with you. Oh, well, I guess it'll just be a problem. I guess it'll just be a problem. Because it will never be. Us and games, it doesn't mix. You were just gonna have to cross. Hey, you may lose one. You might have lost one. You might been in never lost whatever that you counted of, and then you ran across somebody and you lost. Now keep it pushing. What are we talking about? The Most High made it where you run into this one. Because they made it thought that they was unstoppable. Maybe they thought that, that their game was just out of this world. And they ran into that one. And you basically let them know that ain't nobody playing with you. And they still got you in the back of their head like, wow, I guess, I can't say everybody. Nope. You're going to always be in their head. You always going to be the one that they couldn't play with. This one ain't playing with me. I couldn't do that. I can't run that same game with this one. So they will always be reminiscing, your name in their head. Like this one, man, I couldn't do it. They up there thinking, like everybody ain't the same out here. Nope. Everybody ain't the same. The Most High will confuse you like that. He will do that in your reality. He'll put somebody that you thought that is the same like everybody else, and it will shock you. It will wake you up. It will wake you up real quick. And then they'll start thinking like comparing you to everybody else. You will really mess somebody up, you divine ones. Because they'll start comparing you like, well, this I can't even really do no value with this one because this person around here just let me play the game. While this one over here, she put the middle fingers up, or he let me go. Like, hey, I ain't here to play with you, lady. I ain't here to play with you, ma'am. But then they like, how do I actually even like respect this one when they let me do this. You know what I'm saying? You see how the Most High will do to these people? When he puts you in a mix of people, you change lives. Because then they like, am I downgrading? What's going on? Because she's actually allowing me to do whatever. And this one right here, this man right here, he ain't going for that. You know? And it messes with them. It's like, I can't even go with nobody. You know, like I can't even be with nobody else because it's like, I feel as though, you know, they can't be honored. You know, because they just allow me to just run crazy and just do whatever. You know, y'all get what I'm saying? The mind games that could happen, like if you been with somebody with some self-worth and some dignity and, you know, all these things that you got, and then they leave you, and then they go with somebody else that don't have that and ain't standing 10 toes for nothing, just allowing whatever. How could you respect or have anything with a person like that? This is how they feeling in their head. That's why you keep coming up. Because they like, I can't even be with this person. I can't even be with, you know, actually be connected with somebody that's allowed me to do this. When this person actually checked me on my... The Most High will mess with people, man. Wow, the Most High will really do it. He will really shut down somebody's life. You know, like you really change people's life, man. They could never be the same after they encounter you. You know, because you switch up the morals of people, you know, the standards of people. You know what I'm saying? After they leave you, they look at your value, your standards, your self-worth, your dignity. They actually, when they leave you, they want to see that same thing as somebody else, and it may not be there. And they may have a problem with it because they trying to, you know, not think of you ever again, right? But you keep coming up because you set the standards from all the rest that, you know, they may come across, right? Because I'm telling you, you aren't putting up with nothing. Understand that. They leaving a person that, you know, what you said, you meant. And you meant what you said. You know? You ain't changed up or nothing you said. There was consequences. You had spoke with them according to what's righteous. You know, you just was, you know, whole little, what in the world? Different world. They don't even know what they even walked in. But they understand that this is something that, you know, everybody, you know, they probably thought that everybody was, you know, or if they didn't think that something, you know, somebody had some type of a standards to themselves, you know, so they went out here, they experienced after leaving you. This could be a friend, a relation. This could be like a boss from a job place, you know, just any category. This is not just one category, okay? But I'm telling you, all the standards that you had and you stand 10 toes on, right? You want to play the game, right? There are certain things that, you know, folks will have to respect you or keep it pushing. So you embedded that, you know, in them of who you are, right? So when you guys separated and they went to other people and they didn't have that, you know, it was a lot of gaps with other people. And they were trying to figure out, but this person over here, you know, you will always come up because it just, the things that you have in them, it just not in other people. And they don't know how to take it. You know, something that's so, you know, valuable, you don't know until you get something else and you start comparing it. You know how you go buy something at the store and you know something that's quality that will last, you know, a long time. And you will get something that you would just see at any store, like any little corner store, but it's kind of the same thing, but it's not the same, right? So you will get it and you will think it's beneficial to you until it breaks or something happened to it, right? But this other thing that you have is this, it lasts long, you know, it's still like, it's just all the qualities to it. It just is worth the investment. With this thing, it just it snapped like the second day. You know, so this is how, you know, they're feeling. A lot of people are feeling. That's why they got a problem with you still. Because they can't find, you know, you within other people is what I'm, thank you, Lord. Look at God. He like, girl, just say that. They can't find like a friend like you, how you was to other people. It's not the same as it is with all the other people that they became friends with. You know, when you was at the job, whatever that happened and you just walked away, you made it your way, you made it to where you know, hey, you walked away. They still looking at you as if this person can't be replaced. It's not the same, you know. And they may have even reached out to you, you know, or you might have seen them somewhere, you know, you're some manager or whatever, and they told you, you know, of something. In other words, according to that, it could be a relationship. They still hunting you down because they can't find nobody that's the stuff that they have that you have in you. They can't follow. You know, these are like the knockoffs. They just doing whatever. Like they thinking like, they doing stuff just to see if they gonna stand 10 toes. And they ain't stand 10 toes now one like you. You know, they give it into everything. You was at the round table letting them know, you know, saying your decrees and saying your declares to these people like, hey, you run it, hey, this is the last day we running on red. You know, this is like the red light right here with you. Cause I just told you that when I first met you, what was the whole ordeal? I said it respectfully of what it was. And you constantly doing stuff that's causing me to do one thing only. It's to walk clean the freak up out of here. You know? I'm talking about this is how you was standing. And with them, they like, they're not used to that. You know, like the Most High knew that when they came to you, you know, of whatever friendship, when they came to you, it was going to be like an awakening to them. So when they left and you know, y'all separated and you left, they was going to have a hard life. Because they was always going to look back at you standing 10 toes with your morals, your values, you know, your regulations, you know, according to you as an individual and what you given and what you expect. That's always going to be embedded in people because they're going to expect everybody to roll like that, and folks ain't rolling like that. But you did. And they don't know how to go about it with other people. You know, they don't know. You know when you was a child, right? Let's just say this. You know that you was a child, like, you know how you was a child and you used to just doing any and everything when you at somebody else's house. You know what I'm saying? You come in as you please. You know, you running in and out of the kitchen. You know, you just throwing your shoes, your clothes everywhere. You know, it's whatever. I could do it. Who gonna tell me what to do and what not to do? What's the standards here? Ain't nobody putting down those standards, right? But then you go to that one person's house, right? And they hey, take your shoes off before you come in my house. You like, I don't have to take my shoes. Take your shoes off before you come in my house, right? That's the first thing. It already awakened you like, what? Nobody ever told me to take my shoes off when I'm coming in their house, right? And then it's like you go in there and then you take your, you just throw your, you know, where you gonna put your coat? So you just, hey, you set it on the floor. Hang your coat up in the closet. Ain't nobody ever told me to hang my coat up in the closet. Am I everybody? You coming in here, these are things that you have to do. Why? Because as you can see, it's clean in here. It's not dirty. It's not messy. So I want to keep it up. So it's certain things that another person needs to do according to my keeping. It's only but common sense, right? This is what you've been doing to the people, right? And you ain't come like you was being rude, but you come as if, you know, you teaching them. You know, because they don't know. They ain't never been taught. This is something new. So you know this because they ain't doing it. You know, a person who knew it, they wouldn't do this, right? So as you telling them things, you're teaching them. And they're getting accustomed to it, right? As many times as they come over, they're embedded in, oh, she told me I gotta take my shoes off because she don't want her carpet dirty, or she don't want none tracked on her floor. I gotta go hang my coat up because it's clean. It ain't nothing on this floor. You get what I'm saying? And the more you keep doing, they keep coming. This, you keep coming over there. You knew exactly how to go about it, right? And then you go back to the other people house that ain't got no morals, ain't got no values. You can go and just toss you could throw your shoes over there across the room. Who gonna say? Ain't nobody gonna say, ain't nobody gonna say nothing, right? But then you start picking up of, I'm about to take my shoes off and I'm about to put it over here, right? Even though, nobody ain't told you. You're doing it. You start implementing the things that you was taught according to what you should be doing, right? But then you looking like, I don't even want to be over here no more though. Because if you conduct yourself like this, why are you allowing people to just throw, they shoes everywhere, and you don't have no problem with that? Like, you start thinking in your head, like, what's wrong? And then I'm taking my jacket off, even though you allow me to throw it on the floor, I'm gonna hang it up. Because, they start now knowing that this is the right thing that I should be doing. But they learned it from this individual person. They trying to figure out, but why you allowing this though? Like, the right thing that, you expect somebody to do, right? And it's respectful. You want respect, right? You deserve respect, right? So why are you allowing me to disrespect you like that? And then every time, you see how every time when a question come up, you start thinking about the person who embedded these boundaries of respect according to them in a household and according to them. You always go back to the person who you start comparing the person with respect and dignity and carry themselves a certain way and don't allow nobody to disrespect them. You always compare yourself when you go back over to someone who don't to someone who don't respect themselves. It will always be that problem. You will always have that haunting you. And this is what the Most High did to the people who came across. I hope this is making sense to y'all. I hope this is making sense. They really are haunted by you because you set the standards of their life, right? And everybody that they went, everybody that came after you, they've been disappointed, is what I'm saying. Because the things that you implicated according to respect, right? Folks is just allowing them to disrespect them and just do whatever. And you took the initiative to not just implement it, but to teach them how to respect someone. Because they never was taught that. They just was around folks who just allow anything to happen, anything to go, and that was supposed to be it. It wasn't no big deal. But you was like, no, it is a big deal. This is the reason why I needed this to be this way, or you got to do this, is because of the consequences that will harm me or you or people around. This is why we carry ourselves and we do it this way. And they understand that, but they, after leaving you, and then they go around chaos and all this stuff, it mess with their brain, you guys. It really do. And we can see that. We can see that. I mean, look at the example that I just expressed to you guys. Sometimes you got to use examples when you hit home. When, like I said, when you was a child. And you always will have that strict grandmother. You could tell that she loved you very well. But she kept her house and she kept things a certain way that a lot of people don't do. That you go to their house and you go around them and they're not implicating that. They're not setting boundaries. There's no respect. There's no dignity or no worth or value to anything according to them, right? But with this grandmother, you always will hold dearly of a respect, in a level that no one can get on because how she conduct herself. You know, she stand 10 toes on what she, you know, what she stand for. And she ain't allowing nobody to come up in there and deteriorate, you know, what she had implicated, you know, in her home. And everybody respect her and did exactly what she put down on that table. Right? But then you like, I want to go to grandma's house. I don't even want to go to their house. Even though you can do whatever you want to do at the other aunts and uncle house. I want to go to grandma's house. Why? Because it's security there. You know, it's like it's something that gives you Lord, I gotta, y'all write in the comments of what word is that, you know? Like, you know that you can't mess, you can't play around with this grandma, because she gonna check you, but with love and care, you know? And it's like it's like a safe haven there, knowing that, you know, it's not all chaotic and toxic, and it's just not like everything is just hang wire. It's like it's very, exactly. And that's what people feel about y'all. That's what people feel about y'all. People feel like heaven. Like really like heaven finally. Like home. You know, they feel like home with you. Some folks, they don't care about folks just allowing them to do whatever. They want to feel home. You know, they want to feel safe. You know? And that's what you give. You know, people know they can't play with you. People know it ain't just no chaotic. It ain't just no chaos. It ain't just no everything goes and all this craziness. They know it's a solitude that you bring, and that it's a reason for that. And they love that feeling. And they trying to search and search in other people. So that, you know, trying to see if other people have that you had, and they can't find it. It's just a bunch of chaos. It's just whatever goes. You know, and that's not what's home to them. You know, they don't want they don't want people to just, you know, just do whatever. And everything goes. They want that friend to be like, hey, let me talk to you. You know, that's not good. You know, what you did, you know, I'm not one with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was wrong what you did. You know what I'm saying? How we have this thing to us to where it's hard to explain us, y'all. But everybody's searching for that with other people. But we only bring that, you know. We bring that solid, you know, foundation. You know, what people, they're craving that. You know, they craving that, and they wishing that everybody else had that, but they don't. You have that. You know, you don't mind, you know, telling someone that they're wrong. You don't mind explaining to them of, you know, things that maybe they don't understand. You know, you don't mind keep standing 10 toes on respect. You know, what is, you know, you come with your value, your worth. You know, what boundaries that you set, and you don't mind explaining to people why you said it. And you don't even mind explaining it to those. If you don't, this will happen. And you stand 10 toes and this will happen. You know, if you don't. And, you know, you would think like folks wouldn't want that. Like, they'll run away. They're like, oh my God, this person is too. But didn't you respect, when you were younger, didn't you respect the ones who came at you like that? Remember, you had ones that you can just go to their house. You can do whatever you want. They're not going to call you. They're not going to check up on you. You know, they don't even care what you do in the home. You know? But you respect that one that really will put you in your place of you wrong. And this is not going to happen over here. You know? You can't go around here doing this. You can't go around here doing that. That's disrespectful. That's dishonoring me. That's dishonoring my house. And, you know, you always wanted to dwell in them places where there was discipline, where it was like a level of respect and self-worth and value. You had to have that, you know, and you had to respect that. You wanted to be there. You didn't want to be there in other areas. You get what I'm saying? And that was me. Me too. I was like, oh no, I want to go where it's like that discipline and that care, that love, and that the standards of what I need, what I needed to uphold. It was something that I need to be somewhere where I could uphold something, and I had to be accountable for stuff, and things have to be in standards, and it had to be in order. You know, kids love that, even adults. You know, and that's what they having a problem of trying to find that you had in other people. They're trying to figure out, well, why is it so hard for me to find that? And I went in contact with 100 people, and it wasn't given what this divine one was given, and how they stand 10 toes and what they do. I need that. And it's hard, and think about it, it's just hard to even compare somebody to you, because it's always going to be in their head that, oh, this person don't care about themselves, this person don't love themselves, this person just let me, you know, this person it's just whatever, you know. So they don't know how to even deal with these people. This could be a friend, this could be a relationship, this could be in a job environment, this could be in a business ship, this can be within, you know, your kinfolks, your family, in your family. It's not the same. Okay? They yearning for what you was given. It seemed right. It seemed like home. You know? It seemed like something they used to when they was younger, and it was like that one person that may have passed away ain't here no more. You giving that. You know? That's why it's so hard to move on from you. You see folks be like, why can't you be like, why can't folks just move on? It's hard. They probably ain't tried. You know, they probably really tried, and it's not giving what out here it's not giving what you was given. You know? Everybody not like you. Everybody don't stand on, you know, the values and the self, you know, worth, and just the discipline of honoring someone that you care about. They're not giving that. And they have a problem, you know, with you just carrying on with someone else, or within a different association, within a different neighborhood. You know, folks, I'm talking about in many categories, you guys. I'm not just talking about in one, you know, category. I'm talking about in you know, people that's close to you, like in your family. They don't want to see you go, because they know that when you leave, everything changed. They ain't gonna find nobody like you. Always be the one that put that glue. They be like, you know what? We're not gonna freak out. We're gonna go over here, and we're gonna find a solution, and then we're gonna come back. It's gonna come together. Ain't nobody doing that. Can't nobody move like you and make things be a home. Like you, everywhere you go is like home. You know, it don't matter. It don't matter where you go. People feel comfortable. If you at the job place, people know they feel good when you there. When you there, they feel good. Something about you. I don't know. It could be all toxic chaos, people fighting, people cussing. And when you get there, you walk in there, it be home. Everybody laughing, everybody dancing, everybody you know, and it's a job place, right? But people feel good. You bring that good energy, you know, that solitude, you know, that you bring that everything gonna be okay type of vibe. You know, like it don't matter. We could be going through hell every day. And they know when you there, everything gonna be good. You know, and everybody don't have that. You know, it's hard. Your qualities in you is hard to find. It's not something that you can just go out here and then you can be around 100 people and it's still not giving the same. So folks can't just move on like that. And then think about it, the comparing, every time they come with a person, you come up and then they compare you to them, and it's like, how they supposed to live within the relationship with your standards of you being home? You know? And they looking at this person and they just get mad because they trying to transform this person into you. It gets real ugly. It gets real ugly. Real ugly. I had that in my childhood where parents were trying to transform their kids into me. And I had to disconnect. I was like, no, because I don't want that person, trying to set me up based off of what they parents is comparing to me and trying to transform them in how I am. That's not good. I had to separate. I was like, man, I got to go, because that's not, whoa, I could tell. I could already tell how that's going to be. And I know a lot of you guys had that, where you had parents like kept bringing up your name. Well, if you did what so-and-so did, or where's so-and-so? Are you going to go where so-and-so? And it's just like, oh my God, it's not good. That's not good. You're bringing a lot of, setups my way. With the hatred and envy. You can't do that. You can't compare your child to another child. But this is what people felt. When we came, even at a young age, felt good. Every time you come, you bring in that, you bring in something that's a comfortability to people. Even though you come with standards, even though you come with, all this value and, all these different, traits to yourself that, you hold people regards to it. But they love that. They love that you did that. Folks love, folks that will teach them things, and hold them on something. People love it. And then that's what you do. And they proudly, separated, and they don't understand that they not find another one like you. And that's the Most High, I guess, the ways of, the teachings and the lessons that the Most High do. Because the Most High, He knows us. He knows us. And He knows what we come with. And He know the people that is coming to us, it's a lesson. It's going to be a lesson. Whoever that come to you is going to be a lesson, or it might be a blessing. You might meet your match. And that definitely will be a blessing. I'm pretty sure y'all tired of giving out lessons. I know y'all like, okay, when I'm gonna meet my blessing? But again, it's all about the Most High. It's about how he maneuvers in His works. But I'm just here to let you guys know, if you guys didn't know why folks can't get you up out their head, I'm talking about why. I'm talking about within family. I'm talking about within friends. I'm talking about with exes. I'm talking about with people that you work with. They stalking you. You're like, dang, why these people, I don't even work at that job no more. Why they stalking me? It's because it's not the same. It's not the same. You wondering why your exes, why they can't move and why they still stalking me. It's not the same. Dang, I just left, my family, not to say that, it's bad blood, but, I got to go ahead and, do me. And you see them, they stalking you, they everywhere. You can't go nowhere without seeing one of them. It's not the same. Family, with you not there in the mix is not the same. Period. It's kind of hard to understand it because you all your life. But when you outside of yourself, you understand, what access you bring in a person's life. It feels like home. Feels like it's, I don't mind waking up and seeing family. I don't mind waking up and seeing him. I don't mind waking up and being friends for life with that person. Or, within a job place. Man, you really gonna leave? They like, man, you ain't gotta leave. They don't want your good, the vibration that you uphold, and you disconnect from that place. They already know it's gonna go down. It's not gonna be the same. It's gonna be this regular toxic old place. Folks gonna be, and it's already that, but it's just something that you, when you're there, you change, you shift the place, and that just what comes with us, at the end of the day. So, the Most High just wanted to make it clear to you guys on why, folks are still on your tail. Folks, it's hard when you be like, man, it's kind of hard to separate from, you're trying to really separate from folks in a way that, yeah, exactly. Yep. when it's time to separate from folks too, and you know, sometimes you may have to call the police. You got to get restraining orders sometimes, because it's just never going to be easy separating from people. Like, people are going to take it to heart when you do it. Anybody else is fine and all. It's like, okay, whatever. But with you, it's like they're going to take it to a whole nother level with you. Because they really don't want you to just leave like that. They don't want you to just go. Like, why would, they never seen it. They seen them playing games and doing all this crazy stuff to you, and undermining, what you were saying and what you upholded, right? But they could never see you separating from them. Like, you just letting it go. They couldn't see it. But again, there is no choice. We don't play games. We do not play games. You will be cut, ma'am, sir. That's why it's good to grow, because you may be on a chopping block playing around. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I had to come on early because I got so much to do. Like, it's so much. After this, y'all, I gotta take off, and I got so many errands to run. So, but the Most High, he put this on me for like the past 3 days, because we had so many questions on why people won't leave us alone. Why people just, will honor our decision, and just go on about your life, but with you, it's very hard. Because you're giving a whole different than what people out here is giving. This is something that, you could, you would risk it all for. And that you see folks doing that. They're risking it all. And you're trying to figure out, what is going on? And I'm telling y'all, this is the reason. They've been around a bunch of people. They experienced a bunch of people, and it wasn't giving what you're giving. It's not even half. Folks are struggling, and they're trying to transform people into you. And some of them, they mad at folks because they ain't you, and and I feel for folks who are dealing with people, that are trying to change them, because they want them to be, that's not good. I feel them. I have a heart for those who became a victim, of that, because that's not right. Folks really tried to change them into you, like, for real. They went out their way and tried to invest in them, trying to change them. And as an individual, when somebody trying to change you into somebody else. And I feel for them, those who have, witnessing that after you, because they all witnessed that, because nobody was giving what you giving, and they can't. Most High, he made you he made you in a lot of him. He put a lot of him in you, and only for lessons down here, though, just to give out lessons, and you letting them know, I gotta keep, once we go, we keep it pushing. I'm sorry. It's not something that you can change. It's not something that you can go, you can, if I do this, if I do that. No, we keeping it pushing, ma'am, sir. The lesson is over. You gotta get yourself together, or may get some help. And people be thinking that, we are so cold-hearted, and we like the nicest, genuine people in the history. But we here to show you that there's folks out here you can't play with like that. That's it. That's what the awakening was. To let you know that you can't play them games, and you can't do that to everybody out here. This goes for co-workers, like the job scene. This goes with family members. This goes with spouses. This goes with friends. All categories. You can't play with folks like that. Everybody ain't up for the game. You will get cut and you will be feeling some type of way. I'm talking about folks ain't even gonna give you that energy for you to play with them like that. And then you will be in the background trying to assassinate their character and trying to destroy them, and then you will be destroying yourself. You'll be self-sabotaging yourself because you're still not witnessing who this person actually is. I know you can feel the difference, but are you comprehending, coming to the knowledge of the truth of who this person is? This was their awakening. You was giving them this awakening. And all they can say is, I don't know who she thinks she is. I don't know who he think he is. You do. You do. I bet you know that you can't play with this person. The person ain't going to allow you to play with them. And that's what they got to live with. The thing is, they don't want to live with that. They don't want to live with, you can't be messed with. So they've been trying to come back in, some of them, to see if they can, like, start this game over so they can get the best of you because you got the best of them. Like, they like, you're not going to teach me a lesson. But you was already taught the lesson. We can't go back into the heads of time. We're in the future. The lesson was given. Take it and run with it. Hello? Is anybody home? Is anybody home? We was assigned you that lesson. Take it and be the best that you can be. And understand, stop playing them games with people. Because people ain't playing. Everybody you ain't gonna play with. That was the lesson. That was what I was here to send to you. Message. They don't want it. They never wanted that. They never wanted to have that in the back of their head. That somebody handled me. There was somebody down here on earth who handled me. Put me in line. Showed me who I was. They don't want that. But there's no choice. It was already done. It was given. The Most High don't make no mistakes. He always sends us to the hard-headed, the stubborn. He always give us assignments like this. We understand that. We've been doing this for a long time. We know how to handle each hard-headed, ignorant individual. But you'll get it. After you leave, you will get it. You will be awakened for the rest of your life, ma'am, sir. You can't even go back to sleep if you could, because we're going to keep popping up in your head. They're going to be trying to forget, and then we're going to pop up right there. But remember, they're going to be trying to forget everything, and you just always popping up in their head, because you're the only one. You're the only one that could do it. You're the only one that could set these narcissistic folks, or may just have narcissistic traits, but you was there to let them know. If I got to be the only one, you gonna know. It don't matter. All it takes is one. It don't have to be a whole multitude. It only takes one person to awaken. Folks. And this is what we've been doing. And this is why folks can't stand us. They're like, man, if that person give me one more chance so I can go and I can redeem myself, you're done. There is no redeeming. You need to take that lesson and you need to learn. Open it up and learn. Get to it. Get to it quick. Because it's going to keep popping up in your head. Every person that they meet, every place maybe they go, you're going to be there. Man, you better treat this lady right. You better treat this man right. You made it where, it's like You know, it's not, the game is not the same no more. You know? You know, some people be saying that, they be like, when they get a reality check, they be like, man, it's still in me, but it's not the same. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They be like, it's in me, but it's not the same though. You know, it's not this. I got that same arousement. I ain't got that same thrill that I had before I met this one. You know? You know, it's just a downer. You know? And like, see, everybody ain't the same. You gonna get caught up. You know? So, and we here to, you know, we here to get between, you know, folks, so they can learn a lesson. This is the Most High. This is what he do. You know, the army of the Most High. You feel me? This is what we do. You know, ain't nothing to it. Nothing too much that need to be said. You know, it just, you guys have to wake up to basically what you guys done, and then you guys got to wake up to why it's hard for them to, you know, to move on. You know, don't feel right. Stuff don't, after you, and you know what you had stood 10 toes on, and how you maneuvered, and how you just kept pushing after you maneuvered and you stayed 10 toes, you just kept it pushing. That's a shock. That's a shock to them. You know, it's like, I'm dysfunctioning. I don't even know how to even conduct myself to that type of, you know, to that type of way. How you gonna just put something on the table, and then you gonna read me for filth because everything that you did wasn't up to what I just put on that table, and then you took all the paperwork and you left all the things that you had crossed out and you had circled and now you had put in the paper for them to go over, and you got the freak out the building. I mean, like, how you supposed to come back from that? Man, ain't nobody did that. Who doing that? Like, I don't think you guys understand how you guys even be moving down here. How you gonna read somebody's energy for filth after what you already put down on the table? I need y'all just to understand this before I get off here, so you can understand what y'all even did. You took this person in a meeting as if this is an executive meeting. Before you walked away, you need to explain to them as if this is an executive meeting. Before you walked away, you need to explain to them why you even walking away. Because they looking at, what did I do? What happened? What do you know? Did you find out something that I did? Let me explain to you on this paper what I already had explained to you the first time that we met. That this is what I'm standing for. I'm talking about 10 toes. I explained this to you in so many ways. And you said, yeah, me too. This is what I stand for. But your actions wasn't lining up with what you said, but my actions was lining up to what I said, correct? So what's going to happen is, I'm going to write down with permanent marker and highlight everything that you did that you didn't stand 10 toes on, and I found out what you was doing the opposite of what you said makes you a hypocrite, makes you somebody that can't be trusted, or someone that I can't even connect with on the level of trust, respect, honor, of any entitlement of what supposed to be within a relationship that we were supposed to have. So I'm gonna leave you with this paper to go over, and you walk clearly the freak out the building, leaving this person with this paper that they failed, and they didn't even realize they was being tested. They thought they was running some type of game on you, in the background and you had no clue what was taking place. But you wrote on the paper everything that they said they stand for and everything they didn't do. And this is the reason why you walk in the clear out of Dodge. And you left them with this paper that they still holding on to, still to today. Or why you separated and why they didn't meet the standards and the requirements that they said that they could. And I'm talking about as a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, a establishment, a friendship, a relationship. This is what you've been doing to these folks that you had to cut. Remember, we don't leave people just, we don't like separate and leave without explaining why we even left. We're not a narcissist. We're not just going to leave you there looking stupid of, well, there's no closure. There was nothing that, what did I do? No, we're going to tell you exactly why we're leaving out. And then that's it. Right after that paper is handed to you and right after we tell you exactly why, that's it. They don't like that. They don't like your method. They think you cold-hearted. You cold-blooded. Who does that? Who sit here and just go about things that way? That ain't even normal. That ain't normal to you. But it's definitely normal. I believe everybody needs to start doing this. And maybe the world would be a better place. Where games is abandoned. This is a non what is it? A non no games being played zone. Everybody should have that method, like you. And I bet you people will come to the knowledge of what should be done and how to come at people, how to not play around with folks. Yeah, like we're not gonna leave you of I don't know what just happened. Like what confused. We're definitely not the author of confusion. We're gonna tell you exactly why. We're gonna leave something there for you to for you to help, for you to grow and everything. We're gonna leave a little something there. It's gonna be something that we leave to you to help you grow. And they can't understand that. What would you leave this here for? You left something there for me? Yeah, for you to study. Remember, you was being examined. You failed. They didn't even realize that you was examining them the whole time. They thought they was just in with it. They just got in. Everything was cool. They can just run game on you. Go behind your back and do all this hideous, toxic BS like you don't know. Not knowing that you was writing everything down. And you was going to read it to them. You was going to read them everything. Hello? They like, who do that? How do you even go about things like this? Knowing that you've been going about this way your whole entire life. You can go back and ask. It'll be the same old thing. Yeah, big understanding. They know exactly. We left them with so much to work on and why we decided to do what we did. And let them know that you got to work on yourself. We don't leave you with just, I'm just going to end it and that's it. And it is what it is. Figure it out yourself. No, we ain't that. We very lovable people. We're going to tell you the things that you need to work on as a better person. Not for me, because I'm already left. But for somebody else. Like you will leave an establishment and you will let them know that, okay, can I talk to you in the office? And you explain to them every reason why that you leaving. That you have found another establishment to attend. But I'm going to tell you why I'm leaving, so maybe you guys can work on this establishment and have it better for not me, because I'm leaving, but for the next person that come in. This is us. It ain't bad blood when we leave. It ain't no bad blood. It ain't no all hell raising. You know, we here to help. We still helping when we leave. Cause you saying that all the things that you putting on the table, this ain't even for me. I'm leaving. I left. I'm talking about for someone else and people here in the establishment. You guys might want to check on this. Because this is the problem here. So I'm going to leave this here. And hopefully, you know, you guys make the decision to change it and grow so that it can be a better environment for people. Or it could be a better experience for people. This is what we do, people. This is what we do. They think that's mighty strange. Who does that? We do. We've been doing this all our life. People trying to understand, like, what method, what ways. It was all about growth. We always wanted to see a person, place, or thing grow. We see all these issues, we see all these problems, we're going to address you, period. And hopefully you do the same. You see something in me, address me. You see something going on in my ways or whatever, address me. Because we all here to grow, to better ourselves. But I'm just saying with us, we're not going to walk out of anything without addressing why we walking out. Not going to just leave you on just red. That's what narcs do. We're far from a narc, of the traits of a narcissist. That's completely different from us. We don't operate like that. You want to know anything, we'll definitely tell you why. It may be not something you want to hear, but you could fix it. Who knows? But we gone anyway. By the time we tell you all these problems and all these things, we already left. But I'm just here. We here to put it on the table. If you want to change for somebody else or whatever, you know, here's the issues. Here's the problems. You could bottle it up and throw it in the trash. You know, it don't mean it can't be to us, because we left. But for the next person that, you know, may be valuable, you know, maybe something that you would like to invest in based off of a person that you may not come in, you know, in contact with after us. This may be something you want to change. If you want to keep something that's good, you know, or you could just keep going around with a bunch of things that, you know, may not mean you a can of beans. You know, it may not be in the value or, you know, the worth that you would want. But just understand, all good things, it comes with, you know, a certain way that you got to uphold it. You got to upkeep it. You know, this is what people need to understand. When you having just regular stuff, you can just treat it whatever. But when you have some good, valuable stuff, you got to know how to uphold it. You got to know how to keep it up. I mean, it's common sense. But, you know, we here to teach that, you know. This is why we here. We here to teach that. It's a lesson. And we're here. We don't mind giving lessons. We don't mind. And we don't take it to heart either. You know, it's not no bad blood. It's nothing. Look at these little kids. Where's their mom? Like little kids. Yeah, you know how to, you got to. If I got, man, I bet there's some valuable stuff that I have, right? I make sure, I don't care if I'm tired. I make sure I do whatever I could to upkeep it. To make sure that I go through the whole treatment. To make sure that it is exactly what I need to do. You know, to uphold it, to upkeep it. It's valuable. This is some stuff that, you know, if anything happens, you know, knock on wood, you know, I'm A'd out. You know, I don't know if I'm gonna get that again. Who knows in a lifetime? I don't know. That thing is, it's you know, it's expensive. It's something that people, you don't get. You know, valuable things, you know, you don't know if you're gonna get that again. You just be honored that you even had the opportunity to even get it. Because it's not like it's like normal for you to run across it. You're like, wow, I got that. Oh my God. That, you know, you so happy, you so excited. But then again, you think in your head that, okay, I need to do this. You know, every month, you know, I need to do this, you know, within, you know, you're making it ways of, you know, standards of, hey, I have to do this to keep this up. You know, I have to do this so that, you know, it will keep going. It will keep running. It will keep, you know, the little maintenance and, yeah, maintain it. Maintain it. Maintain it, because it's just not just no anything. It's not just no stuff that, no, this is a gift. This is a valuable gift. I can't be playing with this. And I can't let nobody else play with this. You know? You know how you go, you know how you got a rules when people come. Like if you go buy something nice, you got rules when people come over or when people come in it. You be like, hey, you know, we don't do this in here. We don't do that. You know, I don't even do that when I'm, you know, because you already know. You like, man, this is valuable to me. Man, I got to I got to have boundaries. I got to tell people the restrictions, the regulations according to this. Yeah. We're not playing, don't play it, we're play around. No, they don't. They do not receive it twice. You don't. That's a one time. When you get valuable things in this, we know in this dimension, in this, you know, plane, you don't run across too much valuable things. You know, you are tested that one time, and if you mishandle it or, you know, misuse it or something happened, that's it. That's it. You don't get a second. There's no second time. That thing, that whatever that you would happen, somebody else get tested to see what they gonna do with it. You know, it go right off your hands and it get shifted in somebody else's hands, and then they get tested to see if they gonna do good with it. If they gonna make the same mistake as the other person, or who knows? It all depends on the person. But you don't keep getting that. That may be your last. Yeah, but that was your last. That was it. Now it's somebody else's chance to see what they gonna do. They no telling how long they waited. Who know how long they waited? They praying every day, praying every night. Please, Lord, if I had this, you know, I would do right. You could trust me. You know, they be all up saying all this stuff that they gonna do right and they gonna do good and they got all this planned and and then right when they get it, dun 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 dun, mishandle it. They lose it in 2 days. They lose that thing in 2 days. It don't even be a week. They lost it. And it's like, maybe, you know, maybe they need more time. They wasn't ready for it. Certain things that you feel like you ready for, you know, and when it actually come, you don't be ready for it. You don't. Yeah. Yep, they be praying. They be praying for it. And the Most High He gives it to them. He gives it, He tests us to see. And sometimes folks don't be ready for it. I'm just gonna keep it real. They don't be ready for it. They be all in, and then when that thing come, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to maintain it. They don't know what to do with it. They don't even know the first thing to do with it. They don't know. They looking clueless, you know. The thing be there, and they just don't, you know, they mishandle it. They misuse it, mishandle it. They may not do right by it. They may not treat it as what it's worth. They may not even go about the value correct of what it is. And then they whole life, they just be depressed their whole life because they like, I had it. I don't know what was wrong with me. Like I had it and I prayed and he gave me it, and I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I can't even go back into the hands of time to figure out. You just wasn't ready, ma'am, sir. You just wasn't ready. You don't even need to do all that. You just wasn't ready. It's okay. Like Erykah Badu say, maybe in another lifetime. Hey, who knows? But like I say, it's not rare. You don't just get the same opportunity of something that's, grand like that, and that grand scale. You don't just keep getting that opportunity. That was it. You had your chance. But it's a lesson. Sometimes, like I said before, it's a blessing or a lesson. Both of them are blessings to me, honest. A lesson is a blessing to me. Because when you do get that opportunity again, you know what to do. Think about it. If you didn't get that experience, you would never know what to do if you get it again. I'm not talking about whenever you get it again. It may be in another lifetime. Who knows? But like I say, when you experience again, you're going to know what to do. You're going to know. You're going to be like, I ain't making that same mistake. It's going to be all up in here. You're going to be like, nah, we ain't doing that. Because think about it. After that, after you get something valuable, it's hard to live life. Think about it. It's like a hunting. Like it's like you're hunted. Because it's like you're never going to be it's not the same. Everything else that you get after this valuable, thing is not the same. Just like we talked about earlier. Once you get something valuable, and then it's like you go and somebody give you something good, and then all of a sudden, after that, you got to get hoopties all your life. Like you got like this beautiful car that, you wrecked because you mishandled it. And then after that, you got to ride in like some type of hoop de ville. And you appreciate it. You're not like, you talking down on it, like you grateful, but it's like I had something that it was valuable and that I loved, I liked. I don't know why did I do that? It's just something that you just gotta really, take in as a lesson. If the Most High do decide to bless me with something like that again, or give me something like that again, whenever time, I know what to do. You just won't make that same mistake. It will haunt you for the rest of your eternity. So facts. Yeah, it's too much of a risk. And it's like after that, well, it's not the same. Getting hand-me-downs. When you get something valuable, everything else is like a hand-me-down. Everything else is just like something that somebody just feel like, I don't know. It's not the same. It's not honorable as something valuable. And some folks got to take that L and the L not as a loss but as a lesson. It's okay. But just know, don't make that same, in another lifetime or whatever. Don't make that same that same risk that you took. It ain't the right investment. But I'm gonna let you guys go. We had a long talk, and it's always beautiful on here to speak, with like-minded individuals and folks that just need to hear the word. It's a blessing. It's a blessing for me because I can always go back, and look at this as well. It's things that's enlightenment and edifying. It's always just a great vibe, and I just pray that, you guys got the clarification that you guys needed according to how individuals see you and what lesson you was here to bring to people in places and things. The Most High don't make no mistakes. He sent you. He know lessons is about to be lessons and blessings. You're here to send lessons and you're here to send blessings. You're unforgettable. You know, you're like that song Unforgettable. You know, you will always be in the midst. Your energy, even when you're not there, your energy will still flow. You know, in places, in people, and around people that you interact with. You dwelt there. You know, you won't be there, but your energy will always be there. People will always, they would remember you of what you did in their life. You know, you always being a blessing. You know, and the lesson is a blessing. You know, because you opened up people's eyes. You did that. You know, if it wasn't for you, they couldn't see that. They couldn't see the wrongs of, what they had done. They'll just keep doing the same old thing. But you're here to awaken them, like, hey, you got to stop doing this. Because look what happened. You know, and it sticks with them for a lifetime. They will never forget. You know. And this is the beauty of, just you. You're really God sent. You know, you're like a God sent angel, in disguise. You know, people wouldn't realize it until when you leave, they'd be like, oh my gosh. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're there, it's like they're already hypnotized, but, they don't see it. But when you leave, they be like, oh my gosh, I just witnessed this. They probably don't even know what to call you. But I'm here to call you. You a God-sent angel. Okay? For humanity. Not just people, places, but just humanity as a whole. You know? But I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to try to take care of some things. Thank you for the love, you guys. I appreciate you guys. This is a vibe. Like being on here and just interacting and just we speaking. On, who he is. What's the tea? You know what I'm saying? It's a vibe. But, okay, you guys stay fearfully and you guys stay wonderfully made. Okay.